Talking about you. Hey everyone, I'm going to react to That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, episode 2, and Demon Slayer. I finished with Demon Slayer, and after reacting to episode 1, I was debating whether to continue with this anime or not, and then I got confirmation by patron of mine, Daya, that told me that what I was worried about was not really what this anime was about. So I'm like, okay, if that's the case, then I'm gonna give it a chance. But then Jujutsu Kaisen is coming back in like this week. So I really want to see that. So I'm gonna react to this second episode today. And then when Jujutsu Kaisen comes back, I'm going to be reacting to that. And once I finish with that, well, I probably will be done with Dr. Stone before then. So when I'm done with Dr. Stone, then I'll continue with this anime. And yeah, I'm really excited about Jujutsu Kaisen. So I want to react to that as quickly as possible, watch that as quickly as possible. So I'm going to watch this second episode and post that on the days that I post Demon Slayer, which is usually on Thursdays, right? And then when Dr. Stone ends, which is usually on Wednesdays, then this is going to be replacing Dr. Stone. So yeah, the first episode of this anime, we met Satoru. Satoru was killed by this guy that was just like ran into him with a knife, and I felt like this was not just like a regular killing, that he was premeditated and whatnot. And then he got reincarnated as a slime. He's gaining these abilities where if he absorbs something, he can basically understand what the thing is made of and have that thing's ability, I believe. And then he met a dragon and he became friends with the dragon. The dragon was stuck there after he was attacking this village or something, and then they summoned someone that trapped him there. So he's been there for like a long time, and that's when the slime showed up and they became sort of like friends by the end there. So that's what happened last episode. And before we get into this one, if you guys have my reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and please consider supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/filmini. And now let's start this episode, and here we go. One thing I'm noticing or thinking about Rimuru is that he's gonna be extremely powerful, because him and Veldora were there, and it's like, okay, Veldora has been basically sealed in that cave for like 300 years, and he's been losing his magical powers, and that in another 100 years or so he was gonna disappear completely. He was gonna die. So Rimuru, not wanting that to happen, he's like, okay, I'm gonna help you. And at first he was gonna try to absorb the eternal imprisonment thing that Veldora was like encased in and everything, and they were like, oh, that's not gonna be able to work. Then he asked the great sage how they could go about helping Veldora, and they were like, okay, we need to analyze the thing from the outside and from the inside. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna use Predator to absorb you and whatnot. And I'm like, huh? I forgot about the Predator thing, because it's been sort of like a couple of weeks, or maybe like 3 weeks or something, since I saw the first episode. So a lot of his abilities and stuff I completely forgot, and I forgot that he gave the great sage a name and whatnot. So it's like, okay, he's gonna use Predator, either way, to absorb Veldora, right, and his imprisonment thing, and then keep him inside his belly so that his organism analyzes the thing from the outside, and then Veldora is going to be analyzing the thing from the inside and passing the data off to the great sage, I guess, and then they're going to find a way to free Veldora from his imprisonment. And before they did that, Veldora's like, okay, let's give each other names. And then Rimuru came up with the name Tempest. I'm like, oh, that's an awesome name. And then when the way Veldora was reacting, I'm like, what, do you not like it? And he's like, it's fantastic or something like that. I'm like, yeah, that's a great name, Tempest. So he is now called Veldora Tempest, and then he gave the slime the name Rimuru. So now they're like Rimuru Tempest. So basically they're like family. Family, you know. So he absorbed Veldora. But now they're saying that with Veldora disappearing, the monsters are now being more active, because him being there was sort of like a deterrent, you know, because they're afraid of approaching the cave because Veldora is there. So you don't want to, you know, tempt the beast, basically. But now that Veldora has disappeared, you have all these monsters that are just like attacking more and stuff. And then they showed this kingdom, Blue Moon, with a guild master. Oh, what is a guild master? I just immediately thought about Fairy Tail, you know. I missed that show. So yeah, there was this guild master there, and then there was this other person there, and they were talking about how the Empire was gonna swoop in and something with Veldora being gone and all of that. And then the guildmaster is like, okay, I'm gonna look into it or something or like that. Okay, that was basically the scenes with those two. So I guess they're gonna show up later, you know. And then you have not Veldora, Rimuru now spending time in the cave, you know, walking around the cave, facing this monster, using Predator to absorb the monster. Oh, first he acquired this water manipulation skill, you know. And then when he faces a monster, he uses the water slice or something or other, like cut the serpent's head out. He absorbed the serpent, learned these new skills from the serpent, and then he can mimic the serpent. And then he will go and face this other monster, absorb it, learn these skills. I'm like, all these skills, he keeps defeating these monsters pretty easily, absorbing all these monsters and learning all these great skills. And it's like, by the time is there a limit to how much he can absorb or how much he can learn? If there's no limit, then I'm like, this dude it's gonna be like super, super, super powerful, you know. So he was making his way to the cave, and then he found this door. He's like, oh, this must be the exit. And then the exit itself opened, and there was these 3 people that came in there. I don't know what they were doing there, probably on an adventure and whatnot. And then one of them used this skill about stealth, and then that made them sort of like invisible. And they passed through them. And Rimuru was like, he wants that skill, you know, or something like that. So, and then the girl sensed something. He was like, I felt like I sensed a monster or something or other like that. But then that was the last time we saw of them. And Rimuru took that opportunity to get out the door. And he got out there, and then these goblins showed up. And they were basically like calling him this great, you know, person. Like, they were afraid of him. Okay. And then they were like basically asking him to help them, because since Veldora was sort of like their guardian, but now that Veldora is gone, they have these tigers. What were they calling it? I forgot the name that the thing had, the monster had. It was attacking them constantly and killing all of them, and basically the strongest out of them or something or other that gave his life to give them information about the monsters. Turns out the one that gave his life was the chief's son and the older brother of the other one. And they were asking Rimuru, because they could feel how strong he was. He was emitting this aura that the goblins could feel, and they knew how strong he was. So they were asking him to help them defeat those tigers. And then he's like, telling the great sage to turn the magic sense thingy onto himself so that he could feel what the others were feeling. And then he saw how much he was emitting, and then he sort of like brought it all back to him. And without I'm saying, okay, if you are emitting all this aura, can you like restrain yourself so that other people can sense how strong you are? And he basically did that this episode. He did it, and he was making it seem to the elder and the other one that he was just testing them to see if they could feel how strong he was or something or other like that. Then he was asking himself, how come those humans couldn't like feel how strong he was, couldn't feel him and stuff like that. I'm like, they probably are weak. Well, I can't really say that because the goblins aren't that strong either. So what made them feel him and the humans could not? Good question. So he was like agreed to help them, but then he's like, so what are you gonna do for me if I help you? I'm like, really? That's what I was thinking to myself. I'm like, really? You're gonna ask them that? Can't you see how much they are in trouble? They clearly don't have anything. And he's like, he's just playing along. And when I'm like, okay. And they were like, they were gonna give him their loyalty. It's gonna be to him for like forever. And then he's like, he's gonna help them. And he's like, okay, so that's how he became the guardian of the goblins and stuff. So yeah, next episode is gonna be him facing the tigers, which is, I feel like it's gonna be a good episode just to see how he's gonna use all the skills that he's acquired to defeat the tigers. I'm just so curious about how he's gonna go about acquiring this sort of like human form that he had in the intro. I'm curious about that. And they also talked about how he is able to understand how the goblins people are speaking and how he can speak to others. It's like basically his thought is being sort of like transformed into what the other people can hear, and what the other people are saying could be transformed into whatever. So now he can communicate. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like this reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you want to see my reaction to we're not there yet. I was about to say if you want to see my react to episode 3, but I'm not about to react to episode 3 anytime soon. So well, let's just say if you want to see my reaction to Jujutsu Kaisen episode 1, you can do so by checking out episode 1. Season 2, episode 1, you can do so by checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/Philomini. You can also see the full for this reaction there as well. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end